Hello, dear friends. If there is light in your heart, you will find your way home. Open in peace. Benevolent Intervention. Help available. Divine Providence. Service polarity. Changing the weather. Subquantum anomaly. New meteor shower. Let's start. Benevolent divine intervention refers to a supernatural force that acts in the affairs of the world in a positive way. It implies that this mediation has a kind, caring nature and results in a beneficial impact on the lives of human beings. The existence of a higher force that is involved in people's lives gives a sense of purpose, care, and support. It is what Christian theology calls divine providence. The Earth Collective, in its higher form, has decided that benevolent interference is permitted to any positive polarity being on Earth who has asked for assistance. What this means for you is that if you ask for help, you will have it to complete a goal or close a karmic chapter, according to the Arcturians through Amanda Scherfer. You may not know how it happens or what it looks like. However, it is more available than before for a brief period of time by agreement of the ascended beings. They have given a window of time from the present time to early winter in the northern hemisphere. We recommend that you use this time to change the timelines, if necessary, to help both your life and the life of the collective. It would propel humanity towards the new Earth at an accelerated rate. It is also recommended that your request to be taken to your highest best timeline, and also one that matches the highest best timeline for the collective. In this way, you benefit yourself and the collective, as well as being able to experience the best possible life on Earth that you could anticipate for this lifetime. Most of the negative events that have happened to you were meant for you to follow a specific direction or a certain path where there were things you wanted to learn. However, at any time you can choose not to do those things because you have all of eternity ahead of you. Any being that is not aligned with the polarity of service to others or with the polarity of unity will be brought to light. What it means is that the actions of anyone who intends to harness her power over others for selfish personal gain will be revealed. Anomaly. According to Cobra, the subquantum anomaly near Earth is so dense that it can affect ascended beings who would project part of their consciousness onto the mental, astral, etheric, or physical plane. The subquantum anomaly also seeps through the walls of the motherships of the light forces due to Heisenberg uncertainty principle. For those reasons, the light forces have great difficulty directly intervening on the planet's surface until enough subquantum anomaly is removed. The inability to physically intervene creates a negative feedback loop that keeps the quarantine going. This negative feedback loop is being dissolved with the use of modern technology. Mandalas, buildings, and objects based on sacred geometry clear the subquantum anomaly. Especially effective and positive is the octagon. That is why very old buildings in the shape of an octagon have been found in Antarctica. Reset News. It's about time this madness ended. The whole world is tired of waiting. Frank 26 said Saturday could be big. According to Mark Sira, the contacts are kept quiet by confidentiality agreement or non-disclosure agreement. Oil, gold, and silver are three necessary price revision events to advance in our new economy. The largest electrical network in the US issues an emergency alert. Prepared generators. Trump reaffirms that he will continue his presidential campaign even if he's sentenced. X22 report. The Fed tests the digital currency and people reject it. He adds that the dark side is in panic because they realize that people are seeing their system and they can't stop it, and they try to recover the narrative, but this failed. Atlantis report. Get ready for a revelation that is about to redefine your understanding of the global economic landscape. China, the silent titan, has made a move so bold and shocking that it has left the world in shock. According to the Atlantis report, even though banks are failing, big companies are laying off workers, and the stock market has stopped moving, a carton of eggs still costs more than twice as much as 3 years ago. According to Marco Tullio Cicero, a nation can outlive its fools and even its ambitious one, but it can't survive a betrayal from within. An enemy at the gate is less to be feared because he is known and bears his visible banner, but the traitor moves freely among those within the gate, and cunning whispers of him are heard in the very halls of government. According to Peter B. Mayer, the veil that holds our souls captive on this planet will be lifted to free humankind and allow it to evolve as the Creator intended for us. Out of this world, technology will become available that can fix everything that is wrong on Earth and keep us young and healthy. Meteor shower. 2 meteor showers, Delta Aquarius and Alpha Capricorn, are expected to peak the nights of July 30 and 31st. The Delta Aquarius always peak at the end of July. Basel III. According to Goldilocks, on July 27, Basel III compliance has been applied to banks, increasing the amount of gold they have within their capital requirements. This expands the net worth a bank has to meet lending and investment. According to Goldilocks, U.S. legislators met on July 26 to discuss 2 bills on digital assets and stable coins that refer to digital currency payments and monetary policies that will govern the new economy. According to Goldilocks, Basel III was proposed on Friday but not implemented as the actual activation date would come later. The next steps are House and Senate votes before it becomes law. The fact that they present a revision plan lets us know how close we are to this activation. Did Basel III recover assets from all bank balance sheets, connect to the QFS and submit a financial reset? Of course not. Overall, Basel III aims to strengthen the banking system, foster financial stability, and redefine the role of physical gold as a strategic component of banks' balance sheets. De-dollarization. 21 nations are getting rid of U.S. debt, according to Raymond Moore. On July 18th, the Treasury Department revealed that the main foreign holders of Treasury bonds are selling their holdings at an alarming rate. In April, at least 90 countries around the world sold Treasury bonds, triggering a reversal in the flow of funds invested in the U.S. securities. Japan, which is the #1 holder, cut its treasuries by $30.4 billion in May. China reduced its holding of treasuries by $22.2 billion in May. According to Financial Heresy, we all know that Rome wasn't built in a day, but it didn't fall in a day either. The truth is that the collapse of empires is rarely quick. In fact, most of the time in history, the failure of a world power takes at least years, more often decades and sometimes centuries, as in the case of Rome. But the fall of a great regime is always triggered by a fiscal crisis or a sovereign and debt crisis. Markets. The Fed raised rates 25 basis points to a 22-year high. The ECB raised rates to 4.25%, but opens the door for a pause. The demand for crude oil forecast for 2023 will cause a fuel deficit. The S&P 500 closes a turbulent week at year highs. The Dow Jones collapses at the biggest rally in its history is frustrated. This stock bubble would end in tears, according to John Hussman. Spanish banks passed the stress tests, but their solvency is below the European average. Recession. Gregory Manarino talks of a severe economic recession, more inflation, and expects the gap between stocks and economy to become more extreme. Banks are increasingly closing customer accounts and freezing withdrawals without notice, according to CBS Los Angeles. According to Reuters, the main indicators point to the recession starting soon. It adds that banks benefited from high interest rates in the second quarter, fueling a rebound in major indices, but lower consumer spending, slower loan growth, and higher cost of holding deposits. Trends journal editor Gerald Celente believes the banking crisis is far from over and that a major catastrophe in the financial system is on the horizon, sending gold up and the dollar down. Gerald blames the situation on politicians and central bankers and believes that tyranny will continue to grow unless we fight for freedom. Middle East. The Central Bank of Iraq announced the adoption of two urgent decisions to improve the capacity of the Iraqi dinar against foreign currencies circulating within the country. The operations will be made in Iraqi dinar currency and at the official exchange rate. France and Iraq join forces to build an oil refinery in southern Iraq. France plans to increase its military presence into the Indo-Pacific region. New protests against Netanyahu's judicial reform in Jerusalem. Asia. Japan restarts the Takahama nuclear reactor shut down after the Fukushima catastrophe. Russia and China begin a joint patrol in the Pacific. Some Americans moved to Russia to preserve traditional values. They have settled near the city of Serpukhov in the Moscow region. Russia willing to sell production licenses for plasma motors abroad. Africa. Russia and Mozambique sign an agreement to build a hydroelectric plant. Tanzania invites Russian companies to extract diamonds in the country. Libya asks Moscow for help to withdraw foreign troops from the country. Americas. Discovered a pre-Hispanic village in central neighborhood of Mexico City. Argentina reaches a technical agreement with the IMF and will receive $7,500 million. Grandmothers of the Plaza de Mayo announced in Argentina the restitution of their grandson 133. The Bolivian government condemns the use of mercury to exploit gold in the Amazon. President of Peru requests legislative powers from Congress to deal with crime. Much of the Peruvian coast is greener because of the fog generated by the sea. Brazil and Guyana drive large oil production in the Americas. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.